Alright, what is up, everybody? This is your host, Arctic Ghost, and welcome back to another Arctic Pauper Show episode, with this time featuring White Weenie. Yes, one of the oldest decks in Pauper, I think, as well. And, well, White Weenie is probably the number one deck I recommend whenever people want to get into Pauper, because it's a really cheap deck, it's easy to learn, it's easy to play, and it will get you some wins. But you will have to grind a bit. You'll have to learn, what creatures to play when, how to rationalize your removal and whatnot. But nevertheless, I digress. So, what do we have in this little bag of tricks? Well, first up, for the one drops, we have Elite Vanguard, just a 1 mana 2/1, just a good old Savannah line. War Falcon, another Savannah line, but this one flies. But it can only attack if you control a knight or soldier. But since most of your creatures are knights or soldiers, you should be good. Then you have Acacian Javelineers. Uh, this guy might not look good to you, but he's actually pretty good. That being able to ping someone is actually pretty good in this format. I mean, it kills Delver, it kills Spellstutter Sprite, it kills the new fairy that they put in the deck that I can't remember the name of right now for some reason. It kills cards in the mirror, it kills goblins, it kills elves. It's pretty good. And also you can reset it with Course Skyfisher as well. The last one drop, you have Thraben Inspector. This card is actually very good. Being a 1/2, yes, having 1 power is not great, but it gets you a clue. It's also a decent blocker in this format, and you have cards like Bone Splinter, I always call it Bone Splitter, Bone Splitter to pump it up anyway, so it's not bad. As far as the other one drops go, you have Mana Tithe, which is really just try to get somebody. You'll notice in this list you have absolutely nothing against Drake because there isn't really much to do, and it's not the combo you have to worry about. It's the fact that they're a good blue-red control deck. So playing Relic of Progenitus in the sideboard or Fairy Macabre really doesn't do anything. It's just a matchup you accept is not very good. But it's certainly winnable, and you're hoping Mana Tithe does overtime in that matchup, so that's really what it is. And then you have Sunlance. Sunlance is great. It's 1 mana, pretty much kill almost anything in the format. What a great removal spell. And then you have Bone Splitter. It's just a really good way for you to get into extra damage. It makes all of your 2 power guys able to trade with a Mirror Enforcer or a Carapace Forger, etc. And also kills your opponent faster as well. As far as the 2-drop creatures, you have Loyal Cathar, which is amazing because it takes 2 removal spells to kill him, and he is always 2 power, plus he's a great blocker as he has Vigilance when he does not flip. Squadron Hawk is just basically 4 creatures for 8 mana, and you thin your deck so you can draw better spells, and you already have these, and they also fly, so that's pretty good. Then you have Core Skyfisher. Core Skyfisher is great in this deck. Why? Because it's a 2/3 flyer, and you get to reset your Acacian Javelineers. You also get to reset your Thraben Inspector to get more clues. If you ever play less than 4 of this card, I think you're doing it wrong. That's just my opinion. And then you have one Skiff. I have been going back and forth between this and the Choo Choo Train. Forgot the name of it, but it is the 4/3 with Trample. But Sky Skiff I like because, one, it's Crew 1, which means it gets turned on by Acacian Javelineer or Thraben Inspector or Squadron Hawk. And it's a 2/3 flyer, which is pretty huge. Um, so I think it's better overall, especially because you can slap a Bone Splitter on it, and I think flying is more powerful than having a 5/4 Trampler if you get to attack, personally. Then you have Journey to Nowhere as your 2 mana removal. I don't think I should have to speak to that. The reason why there's only 6 removal spells is because you don't want to draw too much removal. You want to draw more creatures and a little bit of removal to help them get through the way. And then you have 18 planes because you should never really need more than 3 planes a game. That's basically what that is. In the sideboard, you have one more Sunlance in case you need one more removal spell. You have a couple of Rune Protection Red because it's just better than Copper Red since you have all planes anyway and it cycles, if worse. You have Standard Bearer against Boggles, removal decks, Infect, mostly Boggles, but you get the point. Then you have Veteran Armor, which is basically your Electrickery, type of deal, or in the mirror or anything. It's just better than the enchantment that morphs. Then you have Holy Light against other creature decks. It's basically your instant speed version of Nausea. Then you have Dust to Dust against Affinity, and a Patrician Scorn against maybe a Turbo Fog if you happen to run into that, or of course you have it against Boggles. There is a chance that I should be playing 2 of these in the sideboard and only 2 Standard Bearer, but I have love for Standard Bearer, so I'm keeping Standard Bearer. There isn't much more to say. We're just going to go right into the game. I'm going to run this through a league. A terrible, terrible league. But, alright then. I'll see you later. See you back for match number 1. Stay tuned.